start the recorder.
Bill, you're going to sit over. I'm sorry, the nameplate hasn't come in yet. Everybody, Bill Burnell, Bill.
Bill.
Mike Cowley is the Planning Commission solicitor.
Oh, sorry. What's that?
No.
No.
Over here.
Didn't start the clock yet.
Yeah.
Get you later.
Bill, continue. Ed Yashinskas to your right, John Durden and John Kazista. And in a moment, we'll have Carol on the screen.
Just hit record, correct?
Carol, we have our new gentleman, Bill Burnell, here.
Hi.
Okay.
Oh, she's met John before. Carol, thanks for joining us.
It's 7 o'clock. We're live and recording, so whenever you want to start.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you have the recorder going too?
Yeah,
Do you
John
want that? Okay.
Thank
I didn't
you.
know.
I just
Sorry.
took the weekend.
Okay. The time is 7 p.m. It's the Borough of Clark Summit Plan Commission regular meeting, not a work session.
Oh,
Tonight in attendance are myself, John Durden, Ed Yashinskas, John Kazista, Bill Burnell, Carol Rubel, Michael Colley, Jen Baslega, and Virginia Keaton. There's an agenda before us, but I believe that we have the approval of our last meeting minutes from January 19th, 2022.
yeah, one amendment to the agenda. So if we want to make a motion to approve the agenda, it would be with the amendment of adding the minutes from the January 19th meeting.
All right, I make a motion
Okay,
to
well,
approve the agenda with the addition of what Virginia just said,
The addition for the minutes from to vote on, yeah,
with the addition of what date?
Wednesday,
1/19/22.
1/19/22.
is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made by Ed Yashinskas, seconded by John Kazista. All in favor?
Yes.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we have the meeting minutes. I don't know if everybody's had a chance to review it. It was our reorganization and our urine report discussion.
Carol, I forgot to email you a copy of these minutes. So I guess you can't vote on them, but I'll send them to you tomorrow, okay?
Fine. And I trust all of you, so we're good.
Since it was a matter of who's chair, vice chair, secretary, and solicitor, and then we were done, that's it.
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes.
Okay, is there a second?
I second that.
Motion's been made by John Kazista, seconded by Ed Yashinskas. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes, and we have one abstention. So meeting minutes are accepted.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have any old business. We do have new business. ALM Studios land development application. Is somebody here to represent the application?
Yes, sir. I also wanted to pass out a color copy of the presentation, if that's fine.
Sure.
Sure.
Yep. They did see it electronically, but it's just black and white copy, so.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Good evening, Planning Commission. Thank you for allowing me to come today to present. My name is Luke Hoffman. I'm the principal. Pardon me, I'm gonna remove my mask so I can speak a little more clear. And I'm sorry, Carol, that Ms. Commissioner, that I don't have a copy for you, but we'll get a copy.
She does
I
have a
got it
copy.
electronically.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it's a
I
PowerPoint
have-
presentation going over.
So I wanted to present today and request your approval of our land development project at 214 North State Street. It's on the west side of Clark Summit, so it's a few houses or a few buildings down from the Clark Summit cigar or Summit Cigar shop. So it's right on the edge of the borough. Our plan is to convert a residential home into a multi-use property. So it would be commercial on the first floor with an apartment on the second floor, one bedroom apartment. There are three of us that are partners in ALM Studios, and our third business partner will actually be residing in the upstairs apartment as part of our business proposal, or part of our business plan. The initial property is about 1,500 square feet, the resident. It is on a piece of parcel that's about 13,000 square feet. So it's a little bit smaller. Part of the property had been sold off in the late 90s under the previous ownership. So it made our lot just a little bit smaller, but it's doable for the type of business that we're looking to start. If you follow in the packet, our commercial space is going to be actually a salon, and we're looking at having on page 2, we're looking to have anywhere from 3 to 5 to potentially 6 employees in the salon. So it'll be low volume of workers. And we're anticipating probably about 15 to 20 cars per day. And not every day, because the salon's not going to be open, full-time hours or full-time days. So the traffic, we're considering very low volume for that type of business. And as I said, the dwelling, the apartment upstairs is going to be occupied at the time by one person, but in the event that something happens with our business partner, he's a little bit older in age, we may choose to rent it out, but it probably would not be more than 3 people occupancy in that apartment. So I just wanted to stress, it's just going to be low volume on that piece of property. So if you turn to page 3, we actually have some pictures showing the before when we purchased the property. The property was pretty well run down. The owner, we did purchase the property out of the state. The owner had lived there and he passed away at 102. But he was not able to really take care of the property. And so if you drove by probably this summer, you probably would have seen nothing but bushes and shrubs. And so we have gone in there and cleaned it out and really have improved an eyesore. And what we found behind it is a very charming 1900s craftsman building. And so our plan is to go ahead and maintain the charm of that, which will be perfect for the use that we're planning. The next page is just showing the progress. So you'll be able to see what the house looks like or what the property looks like with a lot of the shrubbery and everything removed. It has great bones and structure, and so it will be ideal, especially the inside. There's a lot of the craftsman oak trim and doors that we're keeping as part of the design of the hair studio on the first floor. Included in your packet, and then also there's the civil engineer drawings. We actually hired the firm of KVA Engineering to come in and do the site survey and the site plan to help us with determining where the driveway placement should be, as well as the parking for the capacity of what we're looking to add. And so it does show a 2-lane or one-way, 2-lane driveway, one way each way on the west side of the building with the parking structure behind. Our plan is for the commercial, the entryway to the commercial suite will actually be in the back off of the parking lot, just so that we have easier access for ADA compliant and wheelchair accessibility. So in closing, there's some additional pictures showing, allowing you to see the drawings a little bit up close. But in closing, we're looking for your support and approval in us moving forward with our mixed-use property. And I'd like to open it up for any questions or comments.
Okay. Virginia, I can't remember, is this section of roadway, did we say that there was some exclusion to the number of parking spaces in this area because of the street parking available down at the park?
Jen would have to verify where that ordinance, you don't have this anywhere, but you,
Okay.
Is it easier if I grab it? Okay, I can grab it.
it's actually an amendment, so I don't know if it's in there. Let me look. Can we come back to that?
Yes,
I'll
and
find it.
I'll just share with you my initial thought. You're proposing 8 parking spaces. You said 6 employees and 3 tenants is 9 people. And then where would the customers park? I guess is my question, or how would you address that?
Well, it would be potentially up to 3 residents in the apartment. But we would address it. There is some street parking that is available. There are spaces and businesses right next to us that are parking on the street. So we would offset some of that. But as one of the owners, I live 3 minutes from the property. And so that was also one of the draws of purchasing it, is that I can actually walk to work and won't have any issues. So that would be one less parking. And I believe, based on the occupancy though, I believe we added either 1 or 2 additional spaces based off of the square footage of the building.
I visited the property this morning, and on Thurston Street there, maybe it was just a bad time of the morning, all 8 parking spots were filled. There was a UPS truck there, and there was a car in front of me that was trying to get through. I think, like, geez, for this thing being under construction, what is the draw for the parking there?
Well, the property right next to us on the east side of the building is a retinal operating or eye doctor building. And they actually own that strip. And I think I initially said in the late 90s, the last 20 feet of our property was sold to the owners of that building. So they've taken and they created a parking lot up there for their.
That's the
use
thing
and
in
for
back
their
of the
building.
timber wall, right?
Correct, yes.
They have no access to the back,
We don't have access to Thurston, yes.
but I just want to comment. I drive, I guess it's Thurston Street back there, I don't pay attention, but that is heavily parked and heavily trafficked.
Yes.
And it's, matter of fact, that was not an anomaly today where you went. That's a regular steady diet. I went today, as a matter of fact, yesterday, I couldn't really get through until some cars backed into driveways and whatever to allow me through. And I'm only passing through. So Thurston Street there is no longer used as a thoroughfare for all intents and purposes. So it's interesting that you would pick that up.
Right.
It's a consideration. I'm with John. I'm just wondering. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of parking space available.
Right.
Yeah. And let me ask you another question. The driveway, is that going to be instead of gravel drive?
No, it would be an asphalt drive. Currently, there's a gravel driveway for the residents. So we would be putting in an asphalt drive, and it would be widened to a 20-foot drive to hit the requirements.
John, as far as I know, though, the parking is based on the square footage of the house, or square footage of
Yeah.
the building. It's 1 parking spot for every 200 square feet.
Okay,
So, if you wanna, you know.
And then
which
one
would
for the
equal, I think.
residents above.
Based, you're saying that, because say that again?
Okay, so the parking is not based on how many people work or live there, it's based on the square footage of the property, of the dwelling.
Mhm.
So one parking spot for every 200 square feet.
That is for the first floor, the business part.
Mhm.
The residence upstairs only requires one space, so they meet the parking requirement
So,
as
Okay,
is.
so you're satisfied?
You're
with
comfortable with
Code
that?
enforcement?
Yeah, whether or not it's gonna be adequate for their business, if they do really well, is their issue, but they meet our legal requirements for parking.
Okay. Okay. And I know you do have some metered parking below. And again, I'm just concerned. Now, the sidewalk in that area, is that also from the edge of the road to the sidewalk, is that paved or is that just a gravel area because it's next to the highway?
Well, there's a gravel area which has been used for parking at some point, and then there is a concrete sidewalk. And then there's probably about a 18-inch grassy area next to we have a small little rock retaining wall.
Okay.
I would just make one other comment on the positive side.
Yes, sir.
When you mentioned about, all the work you did to change the building, I'd have to say, I do drive by there a lot,
Mhm.
and it's vastly improved from what it was before.
Thank you.
So I comment you on that, I wanted you to know.
Great, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Personally, I love that you're keeping the Craftsman House style too.
It truly was a charm of why we
Yeah.
actually even took a look at it.
So I guess the other question that I had was the highway occupancy permit. Did you have to update that or was there any requirement for that?
Depending on the outcome today, we are looking at approaching PennDOT to either get that, but based on the low volume, we may not need to, but it is going to be our next step once we get this initial
Oh,
approval.
Okay, so our recommendation for approval of council would be contingent upon the next step, which would be the highway occupancy permit.
Okay,
Again, we're not an approving body for this, we're a recommending body.
When this body votes on it, their vote will be to recommend to council whatever, to go ahead with it or not. And then there would be a meeting before council where you would, answer any questions they might have, and then they will do the final vote.
okay.
Is there a lot coverage issue of just throwing?
We'd have to go over that with the zoning permit for the lot coverage for everything.
Right.
Yeah, we would just have to go over that. There's a certain percentage.
It's commercial zoned right now.
Yes,
Mhm.
I don't know if there's gonna be a lot of issues there at all.
yeah, I don't think so in commercial zoning, your
Yeah,
lot coverage is
it's a-
not like
it's
it's
in your
residential.
favor for that, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yep, but yeah, we can take care of that. And if you have to do something, it would be through zoning. If you needed a variance, but we can do it.
What about any type of refuge, garbage, recycling? How are you handling that for the business aspect?
We would actually probably contact or contract with Waste Management. It's going to be very minimal garbage because of the type of business.
Okay,
But yes, we would definitely, it would probably be a small dumpster or.
so maybe, boy, it's such a small parking lot. I can't
where
imagine
would
them.
it go? And does it require screening?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, our ordinance does spell out requirements to have a space that's accessible for the dumpster and that it be screened. So we'd have to figure that out somehow.
I think they have a spot, if it's compact enough, and I don't know off the top of my head, next to space, parking space 8.
Yes.
If there's nobody parked in the slots, they could make the turn with their smaller machine, but that is something we should take into consideration.
Yeah, it should be added to the to the map, to the plan,
Okay,
when it's, the plan that's, final plan that's addressed.
okay.
May-
Excuse me.
Yes.
So I do know, and I didn't, and if you want to get into a little more into detail, at the edge of the parking by spot 8, there is going to be a little bit of a additional asphalt pad to allow people to be able to back up and then go out that approach. So we will have to put a little bit of a we will have to put a retaining wall because of the way the back property slopes. And that retaining wall will come down on the east side of the parking slot 8. And so that would probably give us capacity to put some sort of a refuse bin in that particular area. And so we can work with KVA to get that drawn in there.
Right.
So the existing structure next to the parking area, that's that ophthalmology office or?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I thought I saw it was going to be a gravel drive and and when I saw that, I thought, well, that's fine because we don't have what is impervious or pervious or whether the drainage, because but they're going to have a macadam.
They're saying that it's gravel now. I think your application says that it's a gravel
It's
drive.
gravel, it's a
Yeah.
gravel drive now. I
It's
didn't think
gravel
it was
drive,
even- okay.
yeah, no, but you would be paving it.
Are we going to run into any kind of,
The lot coverage is where they would need to make up for the impervious surface. If they don't meet the lot coverage, we'd have to come up with a plan to cover that. I kind of suspect because of the size of the front yard, they might be okay since it's commercial. What he's talking about though is that we have with land development, we frequently get the goal of a business is to, when it's done, have no more water running off the property than before it existed. And so if a plan needs to be implemented for that, now you will be adding impervious surface, so you are going to be increasing it. So you would, I don't know if it's an obligation or whether it's just something that would be nice if there was some kind of detention system or just even just a dry well or something, just to.
I think, Virginia, where I would start is the calculation based on the zoning amendment we did a few years ago and see where that lands. If we are finding that it is exceeding the impervious surface, then some sort of detention system would be the right approach.
But if they don't, then there's no problem.
Correct.
Okay.
yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. When we're talking impervious surface, what you're going to need to present to Jen is the dimensions of the property and then the square footage of everything that is not, that will not be pervious when you're done. So it's the footprint of the house, any sidewalks, any pavement, patios, things like that. So then she'll do the calculation to determine if you meet the impervious surface or not. If you don't, one of the options is to put in like a pervious pave. So there are options that we can explore, but that is one of the things that maybe sooner rather than later, you can get Jen those numbers so she can look at them and see where you stand.
Yeah. Actually, I can get those to you tomorrow. I've already got it.
I don't doubt it. John, I'm so sorry. One quick question with that. I'm sorry, back
Yeah,
on.
okay.
With the impervious surfaces that you're talking about with the new calculation, I thought that was only residential. I didn't think it was commercial.
Well, no, there's still a commercial requirement.
But I think it's like 50% or something.
Yeah,
It's-
okay.
It's very
Yeah.
hot, very high
Yes.
impervious surface.
I'm with you. I just want to make sure I was on the same page.
Yeah.
One other comment that I'm looking at is the Langdon property still a residential property? To your, when you're facing the
To the
property to
west?
the left, yeah.
No, I believe it actually is a treatment facility.
It's a dentist, I'm
It's a
pretty
dentist,
sure.
yeah, Lang
Yeah.
Dental.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
Lang and Dental.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant the one directly.
No,
next
to
door.
the left, yeah. That is a
Okay, no, I'm
dental
sorry,
office.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. All right, so I
Yeah.
don't see a need for a buffer. Really?
Yeah,
You
they're-
should show the place off, really. Wow.
No, it's gonna help. It's only improving the property.
Right,
TBR to be removed, so we have a 48-inch diameter tree or a shrub.
There's a tree right on the driveway edge and the
Right up
sidewalk
at the top.
edge.
It's up at the top. I looked at it today. I meant to ask about that.
Mhm.
Because I think you're gonna have a problem with the drive going up there, aren't you?
Yeah, so there will be two large trees that we'll have to remove. So one at the, like I said, at the beginning of the driveway. It's, like I said, it's actually, I believe it's on borough property, but part of it is in our driveway and on the sidewalk. So that'll need to be removed,
Yeah.
and we've already got an application
For the shade tree,
that, yes, for the association, the shade, the
Good.
tree.
great.
And then there is another large tree that's a little bit further up in the driveway that we'll have to remove. We were hoping to keep it because it's a nice, healthy tree.
Yeah.
But because of the needing that 20-foot driveway requirement, unfortunately, we have to sacrifice it.
I
and
figured
from
that,
the shade tree and the borough's perspective, if you want to replace those trees with something pretty in the yard, that would be highly encouraged.
Okay, absolutely.
And if you do, let the Shade Tree Commission know, because they do count new trees for reporting to the state.
Okay. Perfect. Mhm.
So I see the telephone poles. I can't remember, where does the power come in? Is it on the side where the other utilities come in, or?
Yeah, it's across the street. The power lines run on the south side of State. And then it does cross over in between the retinal surgery center and our property. So should be there's like a pole there on that east side of the building.
I see it, yeah. It feeds overhead from that pole
Yes,
to the house or the building.
yes, sir.
So it's feeding over lawn, so that's not interfering with anything.
No.
That's good.
Not at all. The gas and the water service come in, that looks fine. The sewer line, where does that one come in? Is that,
The sewer line's also on the east side of the property, about 3 feet from the east edge of the house for the resident.
What are the dimensions of the parking spaces? They're not indicated on here.
I believe since there's 8 of them, so the whole parking is 80 feet wide. So the dimensions would probably be 9 feet. And
Okay,
then there's an additional space for wheelchair, the
Right.
van wheelchair access.
okay,
So I think they're about 9 feet. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly. but-
yeah.
it would be good to get those on the plan though.
Yeah, we do have requirements on that, so we do need to, I'm pretty sure, going out off the back of my head, but I feel like it's 9 by 18 is our requirements for parking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds about right. Carol, are you able to hear us okay, or? No, not really.
It's hard, I think,
Yeah,
To
okay.
hear, yeah.
I don't know where the microphone is.
It's in here, but it's supposed to pick up everything in the room.
Oh, okay. Carol, I'm sorry, I don't mean to exclude you at all. Is there anything else, any thoughts you have on the property, or?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Between what you're talking about and what I saw in the documents, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, we've talked about the real critical items and issues that we typically see, the parking, dumpster. I don't see a need for a buffer here. You're really not changing anything up. There's enough of a hill here with retaining walls, so you don't need a buffer to the rear of the property.
Lighting?
Lighting, yes. How are you planning to light the building? Parking area.
So on the back of the property, we will have a dusk to dawn light. And according to our architect, he felt that that was enough illumination for that space.
And again, from the rear of the property, you're not going to be intruding on other people's.
Are you talking about on the building shooting
Yeah.
out to the parking lot?
Correct.
Okay, is there any barrier between that and Thurston? Because there's a house behind you on Thurston.
There is not because
Okay.
of the hill.
So,
I don't think there is. I was
okay,
Looking at it.
but if there's enough of a hill, the light wouldn't be in there anyway.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So part of, and, and I think this is going to be a variance discussion, but part of the design, we do have to cut out some of the hill in order to have the parking fairly level instead of having it on a steep hill. So we will have to put a retaining wall that'll end up putting next to the retaining wall that's on Thurston. Does that make sense?
I don't think there's a
Yeah.
variance application required on that, but there is a zoning permit.
Yeah.
Because we do have requirements on retaining walls that are in excess of 4 feet,
Okay,
right?
yeah, it would end up
Excessive
being
three,
about,
Three,
Four
maybe
feet
it's
on, yeah.
3.
yeah, it would end up being about a 4-foot retaining wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just.
Design, there are
Yeah.
design specifications that are required on
Yeah.
that. They do need to, our engineer would have to approve them, just to make sure.
But, so where I was going with that, for us to be able to put up a barrier, it would almost have to be probably 20 feet tall in order to block the light for the home up on Thurston. So it would almost be like a billboard stuck up back there in order to block some of the lighting.
You could also use night-friendly
Different
skies
shades
too.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Night-friendly sky fixtures sometimes have cutoff angles, and that's something you could talk to your architect about.
Yeah. The only thing is you need to be sensitive to the residential properties, and that's the only one I think that would be impacted at all.
They'll let you know if there's a
Yeah,
problem.
they will let you know.
Well, if we know that there's already a solution up front, we'll look at building it in before
Yeah.
we get started.
Your engineer could definitely talk you through that one.
Okay,
They know, they can predict based on the device you're using, what range the light would radiate out.
Okay.
So the engineer could definitely advise you on that.
okay, great.
Is
Thank you.
is there it's not an actual building behind you, it's just a parking area. Is that true or?
That's correct,
Yes,
yes.
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
It's not a building back there.
No,
Strictly parking.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they build a retaining wall in order to make the parking flat.
Right.
And then there's 10 or 12 spaces there.
Yeah,
It's
right.
quite a substantial.
No, it's just on the other side of Thurston. There is a residential, but that's pushed way
It's-
back.
Yeah, right.
Push back too. It's
Yeah.
not a huge concern, but we do need to, it is bordering on residential
Right.
neighborhoods, so
Right.
need to be considerate of it.
John, is that area on Thurston Street, is there a guide rail or something here?
No,
No guys.
I didn't see.
No,
No, I think people park there all the
they
time.
park there all the time.
I never noticed, I don't know, I think that there's enough room between the side of the road to fit cars without worrying about dropping off.
Okay,
There- yeah.
you know where I was going with that. eh?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not relevant here for him, but you can't really drive 2 cars through there. at one
I
time.
know, the parking back there
Not
gets
anymore.
so narrow.
Yeah.
Um,
Not relevant to the situation.
No, it mostly has to do with the building next door to him.
Yeah.
They do apparently quite a business.
any other topics, anything else anybody could think of? Okay, I think with the deed, I think I saw that. It's all taken care of. It's addressed.
I don't know if it's relevant at all, but it's not like you are saying that you bought the property from the original owner. That's not true. It was sold. And then 9 months after whoever it was bought it, then you bought it.
Well, it was quick deeded, I believe, to the daughters of the gentleman.
Mhm.
So it was under their names, not his name.
Okay,
So I don't know if maybe that's,
Okay.
because if you look in some of the, what's currently on the books, it'll show the two ladies' names.
yeah, right.
Yeah, so I think it was maybe like a quick deed when he passed. But I'm not positive, I don't know.
And then you bought it from them.
The heirs.
Yeah,
Okay.
William
Yes.
Chad Heiner conveyed the property to the Walton Stevenson in 2020, December 10th. And then the ownership changed on August 25th, 2021. So you just about nailed that 9 months right down.
Yeah, 9 months.
But it probably father or daughter transfer.
Mhm. Okay.
I don't have any other questions unless you have any other questions. Anything else I can clarify for you?
Okay, so right now I have on my list highway occupancy permit. It's a condition of our recommendation for approval. A small dumpster, we need to have some presentation of that represented on the site plan. Shade tree permit, we're waiting to hear on that. Again, conditional. Parking space dimension would be nice to have on the site plan as well. You're proposing dusk to dawn exterior lights. It would be good to identify where they're going to be located on the building and identify them as perhaps as night friendly skies or something with a cutoff angle. And the retaining wall design needs to be included as part of the plan.
Okay.
So those items being contingent,
And we also have to have an assessment of the, already discussed an assessment of the lot coverage.
oh yes, thank you, Mike. And the lot coverage assessment.
For the park.
No, for impervious surface.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, given those items as being conditional, is there anybody who'd like to make a recommendation?
I'll make a recommendation that we approve this with the conditions.
Recommend for approval for these, with these conditions. Okay, motion's been made by Ed Zinskas. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second's been made by John Gazista. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. Carol?
Aye.
5-0. Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. So what this means is that you need to get those conditions addressed to present them to council. Okay, council meeting is next, well, we have a meeting next Wednesday. The voting meeting would be the beginning of March. What is that Wednesday? Whatever the first Wednesday is of March. I don't know if you have time to do that. If not, it would go to the April meeting.
It would, because of PennDOT, it would probably have to be the April meeting because of the
Okay,
HOP permit.
okay,
Right.
It does
Yeah.
take a while.
If-
Great.
if you need more time, let Virginia know, and then you need more time and you're accepting an extension of that time.
yeah, we're not gonna rush you. I just don't wanna, I wanna make sure the council's prepared for you when you come. Gotta get all their information.
Clock is running, correct?
So we have to be careful. with-
Oh, okay. Yes, I'm sorry. There is a clock that says once we start this process, we have to respond within a certain period of time unless you grant a waiver. So I'm gonna forward that to you. If you could sign that and send it back, just so that we know that, because we don't know how long PennDOT will take.
Correct.
Okay,
Meeting in
Correct, yeah.
March,
We have to
Council
get
meeting's
the
March second.
waiver.
March, I thought it was the second. Yeah, we're definitely, you're not gonna have this for them. Okay. I'll send the waiver. Help me remember the waiver's gotta go to Lee tomorrow.
Got it.
Great.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Good luck. I hope you're successful in this location.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you for your patience in this process.
Oh, no worries. Thank
For
you.
anybody that's not a professional, this is a long, hard process.
Lee, if you need a list, I have it for tomorrow, if you wanted me to email you or something.
A reminder of what this, because there are 7 contingencies.
Yeah, let me, I'll email you and
Okay, sure. I have yours too, so either way.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get those to
We'll
you.
put them in with the waiver.
So the last thing on our agenda this evening I'm sorry, I blew you all together, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't have any other mask. It wasn't like.
We were, if you took the podium, we were running.
I would have stayed right here and listened to what you had to say. They'll talk, I'll come up with something. Make some giggles. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so finally, we have the urine report. And, again, I can't believe we didn't meet other than to reorganize.
Yeah,
It has been
It
quiet.
seems in 2020, we were so intensely
Oh,
involved
right.
in.
we were meeting
SAPA.
multiple times in a month.
But I thought it drug over, but I guess not.
No, because council voted on the SAPA in December of 2020.
Okay.
Does anyone else feel like a little awkward having a first, like a meeting after all this time? Like what comes next?
I love it.
I had to find pants to wear. I couldn't wear sweatpants anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Bye-bye.
Well, everybody, I do want to let you know that there's a very strong likelihood that we're meeting again next month.
Okay.
We have a subdivision plan that is expected to come in. It's for the Little League field that was purchased by Mike Noto. He wants to subdivide it and set up some homes on there. So we'll get to that as soon as we have it, but yeah.
And then, what is the meeting date? Just,
For when?
The third Wednesday in March,
yeah, what would that be?
16th,
What?
the 16th again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna be down south probably.
You can join via Zoom.
Oh, that was me.
There you
That
go.
wasn't
That's a
very nice.
possibility.
Yeah. You have no excuses. You can't get out now. Carol, you started something.
I
Carol,
know, I
you don't know
know.
this, but I keep turning around and looking at you.
Yeah, no, you can't see it.
No, you can't see me, but
No,
I'm,
me either.
and I keep looking at the picture on screen.
That's fine.
Okay, so is there a motion to accept the urine report, or do we need a motion, Michael? Just saying that we didn't meet.
Usually by recollection, years past, there was a motion to authorize you to submit the year-end report to council.
Okay,
And certainly there's no harm in doing
okay. Is there a motion to accept the report as written?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made by Ed Yusinska, seconded by John Kazista. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Carol?
I,
Okay.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Excellent.
If you want to print it out tonight, I'll sign it.
No, I'll just do what I always do. Throw my initials at the end of your signature.
Fair enough. And is there any new business? Anything anyone would like to discuss, or is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made by Ed Yusinska, seconded by John Kazista. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you for your time, Carol.
oh, listen, thank you for accommodating me. Once the university relaxes its requirements, I'll be there in person. I just feel an obligation, since I work with vulnerable population, to abide by their protocol. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
That's why we
appreciate it.
established this hybrid process. So, we got it. Use it.
Thank
okay,
you.
I'm gonna close up.